Good afternoon. Following the conclusion of the 2018-19 academic year, I would like to take an opportunity to provide a brief overview of the work being done within the Ministry and Department of Education and provide a status report on items yet to be completed. To begin, I'd like to share a bit of good news regarding the Bermuda College and our College Promise program. Firstly, I offer a hearty congratulations to the 135 graduates of the Barclay Institute and the 94 graduates of Cedar Bridge Academy. I am pleased to report that this year, the number of Barclay Institute and Cedar Bridge Academy students that will be attending Bermuda College is 109, up from 85 from last year. You will be reminded that from the throwing speech this year, the government introduced a merit-based College Promise program, awarding scholarships to public school graduates with appropriate GPAs who wished to attend the Bermuda College. It has been noted that the increase in the public school graduates enrolling in the Bermuda College is due in large part to the introduction of the College Promise program. T. and Tatum Middle School. I want to thank the principal, staff, and students and parents of T. and Tatum Middle School for their resilience over the past 3 months. T. and Tatum will remain closed for the 2019-2020 school year, and the T. and Tatum staff and students will join Sands, Delwood, and Whitney Institute families. In regard to the future of T. and Tatum, the decision to close is at the moment applicable for the upcoming school year only. As we move forward with our plans to reform education and phase out middle schools, the outcome of those discussions will frame the decisions to be made on the future of T. and Tatum and its use. I would also like to provide an update on school uniform vouchers, which I announced earlier this year when speaking to the T. and Tatum parents. Due to the closure of the school, it was announced that vouchers will be given to parents to assist with the cost of their children's school uniforms for their new schools. Parents will be notified of details regarding voucher amount, the process for collecting the vouchers, and other logistics within the next 2 weeks. End-of-year report cards. End-of-year report cards were distributed to primary and middle school students last week on the last day of school, Wednesday, June 26, 2019. Senior school students will receive their final report cards before the end of this month. Information technology updates. I would like to note that the Department of Education is on schedule to increase the internet bandwidth for all schools to 100 megabytes per second. This increase in bandwidth will enable our schools to have increased access to information technology and Wi-Fi services. This progress is in alignment with Plan 2022 Strategy 4.7.5, which aims to improve the access, distribution, and speed of internet in all schools. The new ministry website. In our endeavor to make the Ministry of Education more accessible to teachers, parents, and students, the ministry has taken on the project of updating its moed.bm website. Currently, the Department of Education is training school staff to update the back end of the site, and we look forward to unveiling the website for the upcoming 2019-2020 academic year. All Bermuda public schools, from preschool to high school, as well as the Department of Education and Child Development Program, will have their own web pages within the site. It will be administered by respective school or departmental staff. The principals work to rule. Department of Education and the BPSU principals have worked together to address the principals' work to rule matters. While the principals technically remain on work to rule, the department looks forward to working with and supporting our school principals in the upcoming school year. We value their leadership and count on them to effect continuous improvement in our schools. In support of Plan 2022 Strategy 3.4, we are looking to offer opportunities for principal certification starting in fall 2019. Negotiations with the BUT. Additionally, the Department of Education and the Bermuda Union of Teachers will sign off on a new collective bargaining agreement. Negotiations will recommence during the upcoming 2019-20 school year for any changes that are to be made to the collective bargaining agreement for 2020 and beyond. It is the department's position that all agreements made during the negotiations will be governed by what is best for our students. Preschool programs. Under the leadership of the Assistant Director for Early Childhood Education, the Department of Education is on track for implementing an Autism Spectrum Disorder, or ASD, program at the preschool level, and an inaugural foreign languages program for our preschool students, which will complete our range of ASD offerings to students in the Bermuda public school system. As it relates to foreign languages, our preschool students will learn French, Spanish, and Portuguese starting in September 2019. Also, I thank and congratulate the Ward Preschool Administrator and staff for the successful implementation of the pilot program for the 3-year-olds during the 2018-19 school year. I am pleased to confirm that we will continue with the pilot program in September 2019. STEAM education. The government continues to emphasize STEAM education as one of its priorities for its students, recognizing the role that STEAM education will play in preparing our students for the 21st century careers. Under the leadership of the Education Officer for the Gifted and Talented, teachers in some of our primary schools have implemented the Engineering is Elementary, or the EIE, curriculum. In June 13th and 14th of this year, some of our students participated in EIE training, which focused on instructional pedagogy. In the upcoming school year, we will ensure more teachers receive training and more EIE units are taught in our primary schools. Currently, the Summer STEAM Academy for students from primary to senior level is taking place at the Cedar Bridge Academy. Standard-based education and Plan 2022. Standard-based education Steering Committee has done a first-class job in implementing the Year 1 activities of the 4-year implementation plan. The committee members have continued to work diligently to provide professional development for education officers, principals, and teachers. Additionally, they have been consistent with visiting schools and observing instruction to monitor the use of SBG practices within the classroom. The committee will continue to work during the 2019-2020 school year and roll out Year 2 activities for the plan. The committee will start in the new year with a 2-day workshop for teachers on September 4th and 5th. This committee remains focused on and dedicated to executing Plan 2022 Adaptive Strategies 1.1.1 and 3.19. School transformation and phasing out middle schools. The work necessary to transform and restructure our educational system, more specifically to phase out middle school, continues. As the planning for this advances, we will continue to provide regular updates on our progress. I am aware of the statement in the House of Assembly in which the Premier noted that the government's intention is to have signature schools in place by 2021 school year. I also want to be clear, as well as the Premier was on that day, that we will measure not once, not twice, but 3 times before we cut. It is critical to get this transformation right the first time. So we will go at the necessary pace to ensure its smooth transition. We will be guided by what is right for our students first and foremost. I also want to reinforce that there will be consultation with all stakeholders before the finalization of any plans moves forward. In closing, I want to reaffirm that Plan 2022, Bermuda's strategic plan for education, continues to be the driving force for the work carried out at the Department of Education. Staff have commenced their 2nd year of executing strategies for Plan 2022, and performance appraisals were reviewed to ensure that every department staff member has one or more objectives connected to Plan 2022 strategies. The Department of Education has also gone live using the Achieve It software tool that will assist with the monitoring the implementation of the delivery plans and the execution of the strategies. This software will enable the department to produce dashboards and reports that will be posted on the Ministry of Education's website to keep the public aware of our progress with Plan 2022. I wish to take this moment to extend my sincere gratitude to the Ministry and Department of Education staff for the work that they have done this school year and beyond. I also want to thank our teachers and our school staff for the tremendous work they have done this year. Last but certainly not least, I want to thank the parents for their support and wish all of our students an enjoyable and safe summer holiday. Thank you.
Afternoon, Minister.
Good afternoon.
With all the industrial action the ministry has seen this past year, has that hampered advancement when you look at your 2022 plan?
I would have to say, no, because most of the things that we've seen industrial action for are legacy issues that have been carried on for years. You'll often hear the teachers talk about things that they've been putting up with for the last 20 years or so. But I will say that most of the things that we have talked about, we've come to amicable solutions, and I think we've gotten over one of the final hurdles, and that was the job descriptions for the paraeducators and the teacher assistants. And that is something that they have been working on for 20 years. I will take this time to say that this government has solved that problem within the last year. We have met with them and we have actually signed off on the job descriptions, or we're in the process of signing off on the job description. So that's something that we have finally been able to complete. So yes, it has hampered the learning that needs to take place within our school system. I will readily admit that. But as far as getting on with Plan 2022, it's just part of the process of us moving forward.
So you're confident come the new school year in September that you've worked through all the industrial action bugs and you're looking forward to a productive school year?
Well, yes, we're looking for a productive school year. One thing that I have noted is that the communication, we need to expand the communication, and in the upcoming school year, the minister will meet with the entire teacher body at least once per term, all of the principals at least once per term, and continue with our quarterly meetings that we consistently have already with the BUT, as well as the monthly meetings that the department has with the BUT. So it's not that we're not meeting, it's just that some things are just not happening as fast as some people want them to happen. And so we have to just work with that and try and come out with a better way of solving our solutions than what we've seen in the past. And I'm confident that going into the school year, we will have less disruption because we have solved some of those outstanding issues that have been in place for many, many years.
Going into the summer break, any major projects going on at any particular schools?
That is a question for the Ministry of Works, because they are responsible for handling the schools. I have not seen the work orders that's going on. I do know that we'll be renovating some bathrooms at Francis Patton. I do know that because that's something I signed off on just the other day. And I believe it's East End Primary is the other one. Other than that, there is some painting. I do know that's happening, but there will be the usual maintenance that goes on throughout the schools.
Afternoon, Minister.
Good afternoon.
A couple of different areas I wanted to tackle. Maybe to begin with, you mentioned communications there in regards to increased communications between teachers, union, and whatnot. I wanted to talk about the communications consultant position, which I understood the person to hire was to start in July. Has that person been appointed yet? They've gone through the vetting process, and it's something that will be announced very shortly. Okay, so that person hasn't been hired yet?
No.
Okay. Cambridge checkpoint results.
Mm-hmm.
When can we expect to see those?
The Cambridge checkpoint results, and I do believe that we did receive a question asking specifically about that, and I would have to get back with you on the answer because it was given. It's something that came across my email earlier this week. Unfortunately, this week I've been intermittently in the office due to some personal issues, and I just cannot answer. But that answer has been received from the commissioner.
You talked a little bit about the transition from middle schools. The team that is going to be tasked with the introduction of signature schools and I guess the transition out of the middle school system, has that team now been selected?
That is still being worked on.
Okay. Is there a time frame you can provide as to when that team might be in place for?
As I said in the updates, as we move along, we will furnish updates of what's going on with that process. Where we are now is we've done some preliminary work. We've put together some of the things that we would like to see, and we're in the process of assembling the team. It's not something that is going to be it's not something that's going to be as easy as it seems, because there are specific skill sets that we do want on this particular team, and so that is the process we're going through now. Who can be on that team? Because we realize this is something that something that our employees cannot do on a part-time basis. This is something that we're going to have to actually bring people in from different parts of the government and actually second them to actually do this for us. So it's a process that's taking place now.
Sure. Perhaps a bit of a loaded question. As you referenced as well, Premier Burt, a couple months ago now, I guess, put that potential, we'll say, 2021 start date for the signature schools. Given that the team that's going to lead this transition hasn't been selected yet, is it fair to say that that time frame is kind of a bit of a, I mean, that timeline is not going to be met, is it?
I cannot answer that question until we finally get to the point where we're moving forward with that particular answer. What I can tell you is that that is the aim, and we will always look to hit our mark where we want to hit it. But we also want to have the caveat that we will not rush it. So if we do need to have more time, we will take more time. But the anticipation is that we're able to hit those targets that we've set for ourselves, and they are very aggressive targets.
And I guess then, that being said, specifics like the number of signature schools, locations, focus, none of these have been determined yet.
They've been discussed, but they haven't been. The final numbers haven't been decided on. But there are potential scenarios that have been pushed forward.
Can you tell us a little bit about some of those scenarios?
As I said, when we're keeping my cards close to our chest on this one, when we're ready to start the consultation process, that's when we will come up with the various scenarios. What I don't want is us, and as you know, Paul, this particular topic is very sensitive. And there's opportunities here for people to hear a bit and run with that bit, and that becomes the story. I, as the minister, don't want that to happen. When we do come forward to the public for public consultation, we have something very well thought out, something very well articulated on what the various options are, so people can make intelligent decisions and informed comments.
Appreciate that, Minister.
Thank you.
Minister, can you just touch on the success of dual enrollment, and what does that look like in the future for students to keep an eye out for and aim towards?
Yes, this year we had several students graduate ahead of their high school diploma with their associate's degree from the Bermuda College, and I believe there were 3 at Berkeley and 2 at Cedarburg. However, we've also seen an explosion in our applied technology dual enrollment program as well, which is one that's geared more towards the technical fields. And so we've seen an increased enrollment in that program. What that program does is it provides them with a certificate of completion. However, once if they go back to the Bermuda College and do one more year, they'll get their associate's degree. In response to that, last year I created 5 scholarships for students that are in the applied technology program of $5,000 each. That will take them through their Bermuda College year if they choose to attend that last year. What we're finding is more and more students are opting for the dual enrollment program. And also remember, the dual enrollment program is the academic track. It's now this applied technology track, but there's also a culinary track. There's also the nursing assistant track, and there's one more that's there as well. And those are actual certificates that they get. So we have students enrolling in some of those programs as well. Interestingly, you mentioning that, I had a conversation with the principal of Cedarburg just yesterday, and he commented that our technical subjects at Cedarburg are bursting at the seams, where students want to be involved in these particular topics, and we're wondering how could we expand those programs because they want to be involved in it. And I say that because we hear a lot of things about technical education and our students not being interested in it, but at Cedarburg, it seems that we are getting our students very much involved and interested in the technical fields.